What if you had the power of a god for a week? Have you ever felt like life was unfair? That no matter how hard you tried, the universe just had it out for you? Well, imagine waking up one day and being handed absolute power, the ability to change anything and everything with just a thought. Sounds like a dream, right? But as one man learned, having the power of a god doesn't mean you have the wisdom to use it. And sometimes, getting everything you want is the worst thing that can happen. Let's dive into this incredible story of power, chaos, and self-discovery. Paul is an average guy with big dreams, but even bigger frustrations. He's been stuck in the same job for years, watching others get ahead while he stays behind. His car is barely holding together, his apartment is falling apart, and even his dog refuses to behave. Worst of all, he's convinced that the universe is actively working against him. One day, after everything seems to go wrong at once, his boss humiliates him, he loses a big promotion, and even gets into a car accident. Paul snaps. He looks up at the sky and shouts, "Why me? Why do you hate me so much? If I were in charge, I'd do a way better job." That's when something strange happens. His pager, which hasn't worked in years, suddenly lights up with a message. "Come see me." Confused but curious, he follows the directions and ends up in an abandoned-looking building. Inside, he meets a calm and mysterious man, dressed simply but carrying an air of authority. The man smiles and says, "You think you can do a better job?" Before Paul can respond, everything goes black. When Paul wakes up, he feels different. At first, nothing seems out of the ordinary. But then, he accidentally causes a coffee cup to float into his hand. Testing his limits, he waves his hand, and his messy apartment instantly transforms into a luxury penthouse. His broken-down car, now a sleek sports car. Realizing what's happening, Paul laughs in disbelief. He has unlimited power.
Hey, Hosea! Away!
He can change anything, fix everything. Finally, life is fair. He wastes no time making his life perfect. He waltzes into work, and suddenly, his name is on every award. His rivals are humiliated, his bank account is overflowing, and his once ordinary life is now the dream he always wanted. He's living like a king. But here's the thing about absolute power. Once you get a taste, you always want more. Paul starts using his power for fun. He turns red lights green as he drives, makes food appear out of thin air, and even shifts the moon closer to make the night sky look cooler. He teaches his dog to use the toilet, standing up. He even gets back at those who wronged him in the pettiest ways. Everything is perfect, or so he thinks.
Start! How was it? Having fun?
Then, the prayers start. One morning, he wakes up to find his head filled with countless voices, millions of people asking for help. Desperate to make it stop, he commands, "Just answer them all, yes!" Instantly, chaos erupts. At first, it seems harmless. People celebrate winning the lottery, until he realizes that millions won at the same time, making the money worthless. People who wished for eternal youth now refuse to age. Others, who wished for fame, suddenly find their faces on billboards against their will. The city falls into chaos. Worse still, Paul's personal life crumbles. He thought having power would make love easy, but no matter what he does, he can't force the woman he loves, let's call her Emily, to feel the same way. He tries giving her the perfect life, but something's off. No matter how much he changes the world, he can't control how people feel. The ultimate realization hits him hard. Just because people want something doesn't mean it's what they need. Paul starts feeling the weight of his choices. He's given people everything they asked for, yet they're more miserable than ever. Crime is rampant, relationships are broken, and the world he tried to fix is worse than before. That's when the mysterious man returns.
You've had my powers for a little over a week now. How many people have you helped?
Paul, now desperate, asks, "Why didn't you tell me it would turn out like this?" The man simply replies, "You never asked." For the first time, Paul sees things clearly.
People want me to do everything for them. What they don't realize is they have the power. You want to see a miracle, son?
Be the miracle.
He finally understands that true miracles aren't about changing the world to suit you. They're about how you change yourself. Paul begs to give up the power, to go back to being normal. But this time, it feels different. Instead of complaining, he's grateful. Instead of wishing for a better life, he works for it. He rebuilds his relationships, not with magic, but with real effort. He stops blaming the universe and starts taking responsibility. And you know what? For the first time, life actually feels good, not perfect, not easy, but real. The biggest miracle? Paul himself. So what's the lesson here? It's tempting to think that if we had ultimate power, we could fix everything in our lives. But maybe the true miracle isn't in bending the universe to our will. It's in learning to appreciate what we already have. If you had the power to change anything, what's the first thing you'd do?
Now that's a prayer.
Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more deep dives into some of the best stories out there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.